皆さんこんばんは。Hoshizora Akariです。Hello everyone, my name is Hoshizora Akari. And tonight I'm gonna continue the game that I played on my last stream. なんか、一番最近の配信でやったゲームを今夜続けようと思いますね。それでは、オープニングトークから始めましょうね。Okay, so let's start from some opening talk. Like usually. Wait a second. Yep. So finally it's spring here where I live. やっと春が来たんだ。マジで先週はひどかったよ。Last week? Wait, last week? I guess. Yeah, I guess so. I guess last week was awful in terms of the weather. So yeah, finally we have some warmth. Finally, yeah, I can just enjoy looking at sakura. Like, yeah, I can enjoy looking at sakura, at cherry blossoms, and just, I don't know, just go outside during my lunch break and have fun. I don't know. やっと暖かくなってきたね。先週はマジでひどかった。So, how have you been, guys? 皆さんは最近どうですか？僕はね、ずっと前買って全然読んでない東方文化新報。そうだね、東方文化新報だったよね。を読もうと思います。この前はね、東方文化新報を買って、ちょっと読み始めたら、いろんな、難しいところもあったし、いろいろ他のこともあったので、全然読み続ける時間がなくて、で、何年間ずっと読んでない。So, I finally decided to start reading, or to be precise, continue reading Alternative Facts in Eastern Utopia, which is, an official book by Zune, which is basically, a report by Aya Shimemaru, who decided to create a typical yellow magazine, a typical, like, right-leaning outlet, and to argue how Sumireko should not be in Gensokyo, how people from the hell invade Gensokyo, and so on and so on. It's a very fun read. I really recommend it. So yeah, several years ago I just bought it, but yeah, I never had time to finish it actually. So yeah, this is quite an enjoyable read. And also, I made a Thai curry. マッサマンカリーというカレーです。なんで日本語と英語を混ぜているのかはちょっとわからないけど、いいんじゃないかな。というわけで、今日は他にはタイカレーも作った。美味しかった。マサマンカレー。あとは、そうだね、赤目くんと、うちの題名コラボの赤目くもさんとはじこさんと、もう一人の Vtuber の友達だね。一緒に花見をしてきたんだ。日曜日に。Yeah, I did a little 花見, like cherry blossom viewing this Sunday. So it was fun because it was warm, but at the same time, according to the weather report, it was going to rain, and so we went out and we were like, okay, here's the park. Okay, let's make a base camp. And then it starts raining, but it's like, I don't even know if it's okay to call it rain or not, because most of the time it was just like single droplets of rain, just here and there, but it wasn't a serious rain. Maybe at one moment, and then it was kind of a disaster in terms of like how we spilled some beer, we spilled some gin. But yeah, it was very fun and people cooked very nice meals, so yeah. And also we watched girl band cry. So that was a perfect Sunday. Perfect Hanami for a perfect Sunday. Okay. で、そうだね。同じことを日本語で言おうか言わないかちょっと悩んでるけど、まあいいか。赤目くんとハチコさんと一緒に日曜日に花見してきたんだ。まあ雨が降ってたような降ってなかったようなちょっと変な天気だったけど、あったかかったし、まあ楽しかったけど、ビールもちょっとこぼしちゃった事件もあったし、ジンをこぼしちゃった事件もあってまあとにかく楽しかったね。あと赤目さんが作ってくれた唐揚げがめっちゃ美味しかった。ぜひ赤目くもさんの配信も見てくださいね。じゃあそろそろゲームを始めようか。I guess it's time to begin the game, so let me switch off the music and make myself a little bit smaller because yeah, like this. I'm gonna be small. So last time I finished right after the conversation with a very very creepy 小石。前回は小石ちゃんとのちょっと怖いめっちゃ不気味で怖そうな小石ちゃんと話したら続きは読まなかった。じゃあちょっとフルスクリちょっと待ってくださいね。このゲームは大丈夫かな？大丈夫じゃないよね。OK？ ちょっと待ってください。機材トラブルっていうかゲームのフルスクリーンそう、違う。OK。ほとんどだ。何やってんの僕は。This is really funny. Okay. Okay, maybe a little bit smaller, like this. Okay, almost there. Just a little bit bigger, like this. Okay, nice. So I get... Man, I shouldn't keep touching this. Right. So let's continue. So last time I actually talked with this Koishi, but the problem is that, I couldn't save it because they didn't want to spend time talking with Renko again and wanted to leave it for another time. And so now I'm gonna talk with her again. So we learned a bit about Buddhism and found Koishi here. I don't know if I should read the conversation again or not, because the conversation itself was quite fun. Hello, my name is Mary. What's your name? Mary? That's your name? You're lying. Ah, yes, you're right. But how do you know that? My real name is very difficult to pronounce, so my friends call me Mary. You shouldn't call yourself by a name that's not yours. Aren't you afraid of forgetting who you are? Who would you be if that happens? Oh, well, I'm always myself. It doesn't matter what others call me. Huh? Is that so? If you aren't afraid of being forgotten, tell me then, what you are afraid of. Are you not afraid of dying? Are you not afraid of this place? After asking that, the room is filled with an oppressive silence. It is clear she isn't a normal girl. I don't understand what's wrong with her. I take a breath preparing to speak, but I just don't have an answer. I let time go by uselessly until I'm convinced that it is better to say something, anything, rather than make her wait. I'm worried. What would happen if I make her angry? Yes, this place scares me. It's very dark and creepy here. I wish I could go home. I reply shyly while looking into her eyes, her green eyes. She's silent for a few seconds, without the slightest reaction, as if she didn't hear me. Then, suddenly, she looks up straight into my eyes. Her lips pull into a creepy smile. You're lying. You don't want to go back. You hate it there. You lie, but your heart doesn't lie. Her voice, her smile make me nervous. I take a step back instantly. I'm scared. I clasp a hand to my chest, feeling the anxiety grow inside. I try not to speak, but only manage to make unintelligible sounds. Something is wrong with me. Suddenly my eyes go wide, my face turns pale, and cold sweat beads on my skin. I bend over, hugging my belly in pain. But this is a unique type of pain, one that I hate beyond anything else. This is nausea, the coldness, the lack of air, and worst of all, the feeling of having your chest crushed by an invisible hand. I know them all. Don't vomit. I don't want to vomit. I hate it. I tell myself endless times inside my head, with my gaze fixed on the ground, forgetting completely about the girl. I can't even think, my mind is failing. The anguish that fills my brain overwhelms it without leaving room for anything else. Every beat of my heart hurts immensely. I groan in pain as I desperately bury my nails into my arm. Then I suddenly sink to my knees. Or rather, I fall in the position when my legs lose the strength to support my body. It taxes me just to breathe. My vision is blurry. I can't see past my nose. But despite that, I know that the girl is still there, smiling while looking at me, immobile, without saying a single word. She's enjoying it. I'm sure of it. This pain, this unbearable pain that destroys me from within, has been my companion for a long time. More than an enemy or a friend, it has been my partner. The weight of anxiety crushes and twists me mercilessly. I gasp and use the last of my strength to lift my head and look at the girl, or rather where I think she is. But there is nothing I can say or do. It's a hopeless action. You are not honest. And when you lie to your heart suffers. It's the only thing she says before everything turned dark. However, that's my fault. My eyes close when I lose the strength to hold them open. Then I collapse motionless on the ground, drowning in a sea of suffering and hugging my knees, lying on my side. I stay in that pitiful position for countless, endless seconds until I realize I don't feel pain anymore. It's as if all my organs have been crushed until they can no longer function. In silence, I feel a couple of tears run down my cheeks. It's the last thing I know. Soon every feeling abandons me, as if the world itself has disappeared. I want to disappear too. I hate anxiety. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. It's my eternal tormentor. But anxiety isn't born from nothing. It comes from our fears and despair. What am I afraid of? I think I know. I know the answer, but I'm afraid to admit it. I'm afraid to accept it. My mind circles that thought as my body grows colder. My face is pale like snow and my lips painted purple. I can see the colors. I can feel the coldness, but I'm sure of it. I cannot call for help, much less escape, because of course, I'm dead. Tonight I died, again. But I'm not frustrated or scared about it. On the contrary. Oh, hello Brownie. Yeah, oh, by the way, yeah, I don't see my chat in one of the... Wait. Yeah, it's quite a dark scene. Yeah, and I realized that that my chat for some reason doesn't want to work. Maybe I need to... Yeah, I guess I need to... Well, I mean, yeah, there is chat in my on my screen, but the problem is that it doesn't work in another window, which is much easier for me to check. Oh damn. I need to do something with that. Let me see what I can do. Wait a second. Okay, maybe like this. Okay. Nice. And then, oh, damn. Then like this. Oh yeah, okay. I fixed it, so yeah, sorry for the interruption. Yeah. On the contrary, I'm glad because now I don't have to feel anxiety anymore. My destroyed body is unable to feel it. I feel perfectly calm, as if some magical medicine is circulating through my veins. My mind is at ease, and soon enough, all the pain and anger from earlier drift away. Somehow, being killed instead of hurting me heals me. The only thing that saddens me is, how will I tell Renko tomorrow? My phone's alarm wakes me up as usual. The first thing I do is rub my face and reach for my phone to turn it off. I'm in my apartment. Everything seems so normal, until memories of the dream flash through my mind. I stare at the nothingness for long seconds, between pensive and too tired to move. It's the third time that's happened. I say, talking to myself. I don't mean that it's the third night in a row that I dreamed, but that it's the third time I've been killed. I feel somewhat puzzled. This time it wasn't like the others. The pain and... Sorry. I'll drink some water. Well, it's not water, but anyway. Ah, nice. The pain I felt was devastating, like feeling your very soul crumbling inside of you, much more painful than being stabbed or eaten. All living beings are terrified of dying and dream of cheating death, but it's different for me. After I die, I feel so relaxed. All the pain and fear goes away. They're replaced by a silent, unmoving tranquility. To tell the truth, I don't even care that much about death. My body and my soul give it no more importance than a simple nightmare, a bad dream, although I know it is much more than that. Anyway, I sigh and finally get out of bed. If I keep thinking about it, I'll be late for class. The rest of the day passes as usual. I keep thinking about the dream during class and how I'll tell Renko about it. And before I know it, it's time to go to the club. Welcome, Vice President. Renko greets me when I open the door. She's already sitting at the table, drinking a fresh cup of tea for today's meeting. It's so unusual for her to be early. Hi, Renko, I say with a shy smile. I take a seat on the other end of the table and pour myself a cup of tea. Steam billows out, filling the air with a delicious smell. I blow to cool it before taking a sip, closing my eyes and holding the cup with both hands elegantly. Then I take a deep breath and open my eyes. I take a moment to look at Renko's carefree face before I say anything. Renko, it happened again. I had another dream. Again? That's 3 times in a row. Are you trying to set a new record? Well, where did you go this time, Mary? It was a Buddhist Buddhist temple, but it looked very old and abandoned. In fact, of the 3 dreams so far, this was the gloomiest. It had many mysterious messages and even a graveyard. Renko falls silent, looking at me with eyes that say she can't wait to hear more. I can't help but smile. I tell her about my dream, the snowy cemetery, the stone statues, the broken masks, and finally the strange girl. And I brought something again too. I dig through my bag until I find a Vajra, a Hindu ritual tool in the shape of 2 bells joined by a handle, made entirely of gold. The name means both lightning and diamond, symbolizing power and eternity. It is something even more difficult to obtain than the silver knife. The fact that it's made of gold would make it impossible to buy. I put the Vajra on the table and notice how Renko looks at it without really understanding what it is. She examines it with her eyes alone first, and then takes it in one hand, holding it at different angles while craning her hand around to see every detail of the artifact. It's almost funny how extensively she studies it, as if it was a piece of alien technology. It's something monks use during ceremonies, isn't it? Yes, and it's also a weapon used by the gods in ancient myths. Then suddenly I hear a metallic sound. The Vajra slipped from her fingers and fell to the ground. Renko immediately freezes, blushing in embarrassment. She snatches it up and returns it to the table, pretending nothing happened. All I do is keep smiling, but now my smile shows disgust. Don't break it, it's expensive, I said, pretending to be angry. Renko immediately looks away and adjusts her hat in a shy gesture. Of course not. It's a valuable addition to the club. Anyway, Murray, do you think that girl was a yokai? Yes, I have no doubt about it. But I can't tell what exactly. She kept saying that my heart doesn't lie. She seems to have some sort of mind-reading power. My best guess is that she was a Satori, but could be a unique species too. A mind reader sounds very interesting. I would love to ask her some questions, but it seems like she doesn't let you lead the conversation. She would probably tell you your heart is as cold and dark as space. What do you mean? My heart is healthy and warm. I'm at the prime of life after all, she says, pretending to be excited. I don't answer her, but instead quietly raise my cup and sip some tea. A calm silence fills the room, but I know it isn't going to last. Mary, are you okay? I mean, you died again, didn't you? I intentionally omitted that part. I told Renko that I woke up right after talking with the girl, but it seems that I'm not a good liar. Or perhaps I simply can't fool her. I'm fine, Renko. I've told you before, it's just a bad dream. Even if I die, it has no effect on my body or mind. You don't need to worry. My words sound so uncaring, but deep down I do feel guilty about it. You might not have any injuries, but dying that many times can be a good thing. Why do you worry so much? Suddenly, there is an awkward silence. Renko crosses her arms, looking over me for long seconds with a serious expression. She seems resolved. I instead look away, avoiding her gaze and saying nothing. I know I'm being rude, but I really don't want her to worry. I don't want to be a bother. Mary, I just want to make sure you're okay. I don't want you to push yourself too hard. I know you like having adventures as much as I do listening to them, but You should also rest. I can't control when I have dreams. You know that. I do, but you can control what you do outside of your dreams. When you told me you died, you acted like it was nothing important. You talk as if you've gotten used to it. Your dreams are journeys to other dimensions. When you die in your dream, does that mean the Mary of that world died too? And what if one day you confuse this world with a dream? I don't know. Everything seems so clear to me. Dreams and reality, to me, are so clear. I can't really explain it. I know. I can't even pretend to understand the logic and structure of what you call dreams. That's why I have a proposal. Something quite simple, actually. I'd like you to spend the night at my apartment today. That way, if you have another dream, I could come with you and make sure you don't get hurt. Without thinking, I lift my head and look up at her eyes in disbelief. Renko is serious. However, soon a playful yet shy smile draws on my face. Thanks, but you weren't very useful that time in Torifune. Ah, Mary, don't say that. Come on. I know, but I promise I'll be more careful this time. I'm blushing. It won't be our first time sleeping together. In fact, every time we travel for club activities, we sleep in the same room. But I've never slept in her apartment before. I also suspect that Renko doesn't really know how embarrassing all of this sounds to me. I can't let Eskimo or nightmares harm the vice president. As president of the club, it's my duty to do something about it. Even if you think it's unnecessary, do it just to humor me. And we could also watch movies and order pizza. It would be like a sleepover, or even better, a club activity. A playful smile tugs at my lips after hearing that. Oh, Adogawa-san. I forgot how to say good evening in English. Oh my god. My brain is cooked. Yeah, crazy girl gaming. Yeah, it's the same game as the last time, right? So last time we met a really creepy girl with a creepy smile who killed us again. So yeah, now we're just hanging in the club. By the way, as I'm reading this, yeah, you guys can write in the chat how your day was, because yeah, I'll reply after I finish reading this scene, because as far as I remember, it's supposed to be quite long. Okay, let me drink some horoyoi. Okay, my heart beats faster, fueled by a strange combination of shame and excitement. All my worries from earlier have vanished. I know Renko only does it because she cares about me. She's a good friend. Okay, but I get to choose the pizza and the movie, we'll see. Perfect. The negotiations were a success. Now I just have to find a way to sell the voucher on the internet. That will not happen. Renko laughs at my reaction, then leans over to tenderly stroke my hair. I blush and hide my smile behind a hand. The rest of the session happens as usual. We talk about some rumors Renko has heard about the haunted abandoned factory, most likely a lie, and other unimportant topics until finally it's time to leave. We leave the voucher in the club and walk to the train station. After we board, we sit together. Renko takes my hand. She doesn't even ask for permission. She knows I'm not going to reject her. I intertwine our fingers, feeling our closeness grow with such a simple gesture. Then I close my eyes and lean against her, resting my body next to hers. Mary, don't fall asleep on the way. Just wake me up if I do. Should I wake up the princess with a kiss? Sure, that works, is my simple reply, said with pure honesty, without even opening my eyes. I can't see it, but I'm sure that Renko blushes in response. I know it because she goes quiet. Knowing that fills me with pride. The rest of the trip happens in silence. Minutes pass pass fast and comfortably, feeling so brief until I hear Renko call me. Mary, we are here. It's time to get off. I open my eyes, and the first thing I see is Renko's face as she bends down to gently take my hand. It makes my heart swell with joy. It's something so ordinary, but that doesn't mean it can't be valuable. We talk about a few silly topics while walking together, simply because it doesn't feel right to be silent with a friend next to you. Renko's apartment is outside the city center, in a building that is only 2 stories tall, unlike where I live. Once inside, the first thing I do is sit on the sofa. Renko sits at my side. Well, Mary, what would you like to see? How about a bad science fiction movie? I mean, a very bad one. I like to hear your grumble about all the flaws. Huh? Do you want to see me complain every time I see something stupid? Are you sure that's fun? Of course! I love how seriously you take it. You seem to forget the fiction part in science fiction every time. I just dislike how dumb and impossible everything looks. It's hard for me to follow the hero's plans if I already know they won't work. But well, just don't regret it later. After that, Renko picks an old black and white movie, the kind where spacesuits are 80% aluminum foil and with a user rating of just 1 star. Anyone who sees us might guess it, but we're both old-fashioned. The past, as opposed to the present, seems like a fascinating thing, perhaps because the filter of time removes many of the bad things, or simply because it is far away. As I watch the movie, Renko orders a pizza with cheese bread and soda from her cell phone. She knows what ingredients I like, so I don't have to say anything. That is the beginning of our night together. Just as I supposed, more than watching the movie, we spend the time making fun of it between bites of pizza. Renko in particular is unable to shut up whenever she notices something wrong. She isn't very good at suspending her disbelief. However, I must confess the movie is pretty bad, filled with logic errors, silly characters, a lazy plot, and terrible effects. Basically, it's a cocktail of failure that doesn't stop giving us material for complaints, ridicule, and laughter. By the way, speaking of such experiences, yeah, I've had such experiences. I watched some bad movies with the guys, and it was nice. Well, sometimes they were too boring though. Some movies are, yeah, just too boring. I don't know. Okay, yeah, let's read the comments while I'm still here. Okay, Buenos Sera. That's not English. That's not English. Don't try to deceive me. I see through you. Okay, Ado-san. My friend sent Ado rice. I'm so happy. Oh, you mean... Okay, so how much rice? I mean, is it like 5 kilogram or 10 kilogram or something like that? In this economy I'm rich. Oh yeah, the rice as currency. I actually have 3 kinds of rice at home, so I'm the richest person in the city. Yay. Probably. Rice is nice. Urinice. You know, at first I read it as urinales and I thought about urinals. Hand-holding CGI. Yep, Brownie, hand-holding CGI. Okay, so I guess that, yeah, after this scene, we should go to the asylum, as far as I remember the demo version, but let's see. I can't imagine a better way to spend the night. Oh, but by the way, have you had the, like, bad movie watching parties? Because, yeah, because... Yeah, it would be fun to listen to it. I remember that one of the movies I watched, well, actually it was with Brownie and other people, was a movie about some guy who travels through space and time, and well, it was so bad that it wasn't even like the level of hitting the bottom and becoming super cool. It was more boring than that. It was ridiculous, but it was painful to watch. I don't know. The funniest part was the glittering button panel. I don't know how to call it. It was like a panel with lots of lights and a keyboard. Basically it was a keyboard, but it was much better than the rest of the film. I still remember that. It was fascinating. Yeah. Yeah. Back to paying taxes and rice, just like back in the good old Edo. A time machine I bought on the yard sale. Yeah, that one. It was awful. It's fascinating, its cinematography, or rather lack of it, because of its lack of cinematography. Yeah, like they didn't even try. At least in movies like The Room, they at least tried, I think. But there, it's just, I don't know. It was too much for me. I can't imagine a better way to spend the night. Yeah. Watching a bad movie with an oompy, with a bestie, I would say. No, they're just doing they're just doing bestie things. When the movie ends, we decide to see another one, but this time a good one about ghosts. I frequently ask Renko to pause the movie to share my theories about what's happening. Oh, Alfred Prose. Hello, welcome to my stream. Yeah, watching the best movies. Yeah, Brownie, they were besties. Yeah, besties according to Takeda Ayano. Yeah. Am I correct that you are the developer of the game, right? Because if yes, then yeah, thank you for this game. As I mentioned during my last stream, I was really expecting this game to come out because, yeah, I really liked the demo version, which came out like a couple of years ago. But yeah, at some point I was like, it was somewhere at the back of my mind. So, yep. Should I reveal my identity? Well, as you wish. I saw you liked my tweets, so yeah, I might have slipped it out. But I'm still not sure, 100% sure. Yeah. Okay. I will continue reading from now. Far from being upset, she seems to enjoy the discussion. In the end, our guesses are wrong, but it's fun nonetheless. And before I know it, it's time to sleep. We lie down and get comfortable, slipping under... Oh my god. Wait a second. I guess I was talking too much, so I lost the momentum, and now I can't get myself back in the mood for reading it how I imagine it's supposed to sound. So let me drink a bit of horoyoi, and yeah, let's continue. We lie down and get comfortable, slipping under the sheets. I still remember the first time we slept in the same room. It was during our club trip. I felt nervous when Renko first proposed the idea, but I quickly got used to it. It's no different from sleeping with a family member. A few seconds pass in silence, with the lights off, until Renko unexpectedly speaks. By the way, Mary, I remember once you hugged me in your sleep. What were you dreaming that time? Huh? I don't know. I guess I was cold, and you didn't do anything to stop me. Well, I didn't want to wake you up. I see. Mary, if you have another dream, even if it's a cold one, I would like to accompany you. Don't forget about me and go have an adventure on your own. After hearing that, I turned towards her. I can't see her, but I can feel her presence. Renko was right. I needed tonight. The company, the laughter, the warmness. Now my soul feels lighter. The stress from the nightmares has completely disappeared. Yes, I can't leave the president out of the club's most special activity. I say kindly before going quiet. We don't speak another word, and sooner than I expected, I fall asleep. Oh, okay, Alfred Prose. No problem. Yeah, I'm the programmer for the game. Oh, wow. That's yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Like, I remember that when this game first came out, I was kind of like, I mean, the demo version of this game. I remember that I tried to put out some Touhou, like some short Touhou games. Like we participated in some Touhou game jams and made some games, and yeah, I remember enjoying this game and going like, wow, yeah, that's something that I wish I could create too, but then I haven't done anything for like a couple of years. Yeah. So those were fun times. Okay, let's continue. We don't speak another word, and sooner than I expected, I fall asleep. Oh no. Now it begins. What's your name? Maribel Hearn. I force myself to answer. My voice is weak. I can't raise my eyes from staring down at where my hands rest, clasped anxiously in my lap. The man doesn't even try to say my name. He doesn't show any concern for me, simply continues with the next question, ignoring the stay time. He ignores my sweat, my shaking legs, my fingers clenched against my skirt, and my scared purple eyes unable to meet his gaze. Even being face to face, the distance between the two of us is immense. There is an impenetrable barrier that separates us, the barrier between normal and abnormal, healthy and sick. Do you know why you're here? Because I'm suffering from an unknown infection. A few days before, Renko and I visited Torifune, a garden outside of this world. I opened the gap and we both crossed it, entering a dreamland while still awake. However, something went wrong. I was ambushed by an unknown beast, a chimera that has no name in our world. Because of this, I became ill with an unknown infection. Renko worriedly took me to the hospital, but the doctors had more ideas for me. The disease I have is not only in my body, or so they tell me. This is not the reason. An infection like this has never appeared in the medical data, and your story simply cannot be possible. So we believe there must be something else wrong with you. I know. Taking everything into consideration, we've arrived to the conclusion that you're suffering from hallucinations. Your fever was psychosomatic. In other words, your body was reacting to the imaginary sickness in your mind. That's why you presented such unique symptoms from a common infection. His voice is cruel. It's poisonous. I don't want to hear it anymore. Without thinking, I cover my ears with both hands, but it doesn't help. As if he's speaking from inside my head, his voice echoes in my mind. How long have you been suffering from delirium? That question freezes my heart. I hold my breath while an invisible hand crushes my chest. Without realizing it, I bite my lips to the point they bleed. I know what he's thinking. I know what he's going to say. I even know what's going to happen. But even knowing all that, there is nothing I can do to stop it. All I can do is prolong the silence that separates me from his answer by a tiny moment. We want you to stay here for observation for a few months. During the first month, you will be prohibited from having visitors or contact with the outside. However, if you show signs of empowerment, it may be authorized. I know it may sound harsh, but believe me, we're the only doing what's best for your health. Do you agree to these terms? Yes. I answer submissively, hating myself for doing so. My eyes look at the floor, completely empty. It feels like staring into an endless void with no escape. I want to do the opposite, to reject it, to run away, but I know I can't. The chains of society bind me. If I refuse, they'll force me to stay for an even longer time, maybe even forever. You don't have to be afraid. We'll help you become normal. We will help you become normal. He finally says, and shortly after stands up and leaves the room, abandoning me in silence, as if I wanted that. If I sacrifice everything that makes me who I am, everything you call abnormal, then wouldn't be the same as dying. My body would still be alive, but the person Maribel Hearn would be dead. I would never be the same. It would be a new person, wearing my face and using my voice, but my personality, my identity would be lost. I don't want to disappear. Is that really such a big crime? I don't want to be normal. This is a good line. I want to be myself. I don't know what I want, but I know it's not inside this room. Okay, yeah. Yeah, remember that this part. Okay, let me sip some more alcohol. Yeah, I really like how in... Wait a second, was it Neo-Traditionalism of Japan? Like the album that continued the plot line of Torifune, where Mary was where Mary gets released from the sanatorium and they go to see the temple with Renko. So remember that there was a line in that album which said that, well, even if all the progress in this future world, people are still afraid of something that's different from the normalcy, or kind of like that. And yeah, I never thought, like, I remember that until some moment I had never thought about it, but then I finally realized how this encapsulates the beliefs that Zun has. Okay, RPM moment. Okay, excuse me? Excuse me? Are you okay? There is someone waiting for you in the garden, Miss Hearn. A beautiful woman with long hair. She has patiently waited for a long time now. Oh, yes, thank you. But first you should talk with the doctor. He's at his office, room 105. Wait, yeah, what engine does it use, by the way? I thought it's just Rampai. Wait, I forgot. Like, I think it was, yeah, it was stated in, like when you run the game, like the name just shows there, but... Oh, it's just a toilet. Yeah. Okay, so the Yeah, of course we don't have anything in the inventory, or I think it's better to avoid them. They won't budge. Yeah, I'm using all my gamer experience and gamer instincts and just check out all the doors. I don't know, like, I know that sometimes it's futile, but I like exploring like that. Yeah, by the way, I think it's better to avoid them. あの人たちを避けた方がいい。Yeah, by the way, I'm only using English right now, but I don't know if any なんかなんで英語で話してたのか。さっきの。誰か英語があんまりよくわからなくて日本語の訳が欲しい方々がいたらぜひ教えてくださいね。Okay. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Two friends always running together without a moment of break. One is faster than the other, and yet they meet many times a day. One day, the short one was feeling sad. It took a step, then another, then one more, and then finally stopped, feeling no will to move. After the tall one took 18 steps, it noticed its friend was missing. Well, okay, I remember what the puzzle is from the demo version. It took me some time to just figure it out. I remember like 10 to 15 minutes or so. I don't remember. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that I wasn't sure if what to do with the clock. But okay, anything useful here? Oh my gosh, I forgot the name of the melody that is playing right now. Okay, let's talk with the. Oh, it's a patient. I thought it was like a, I don't know, a crazy janitor or something. Like, all that we see or have seen is but a dream within a dream. Are you still dreaming or awake? Come on, man, whatever. It's locked. Okay. Wait. So I think I will try to solve this puzzle a bit later. Because right now... Okay, I can't go here. Because right now I want to explore more around the... like, the third floor. Yeah, it would be... Wait, I don't remember... this game has a Chinese translation, right? But not Japanese, if I remember correctly. Hoshi's like, your silly solipsism has no power on me. Well, I mean, he's correct, maybe? Like, at the end of the day, we can only perceive the world like through our senses. So anything that we see or hear or smell or touch, everything is just a representation of the real world in our heads. So the question is, are we sure that's a correct representation? Okay, wait a second. Need to... Okay, I don't remember actually. I think, yeah, it was difficult for me to understand what's the two friends referred to, but yeah, now at least I remember what it is. Oh, okay, so you have the Chinese version for the demo, but not for the main game. Oh, I see. Yeah. There is no real world. It's our own world. Yeah, exactly. That's something that we often forget. Even though, like although we can argue that, yeah, more or less our senses are how should I put it? Like, we can believe our senses to some extent, I guess, so at the end of the day it doesn't matter if we're dreaming or not, because, well, anyway, we perceive the real world, but not always the case. Okay. One is faster than the other, and yet they meet many times a day. One day, the short one was feeling sad. It took a step, then another, then one more, and it finally stopped, feeling no will to move. After the tall one took 18 steps, it noticed its friend was missing. Okay, so it is three... should be three... 333, right? Oh my god. Okay. Oh, I get I got it. Wait, no. Once more. I might have misunderstood that. Yeah, remember it took me some time to figure it out, and wait. Oh, okay. Actually, it has... the timer is on the clock, right? Yeah, remember that the friends are... how is it called in English? Tokei no hari. Hands, right? I remember it's about the hands of the clock. But I've completely forgotten how it worked. Yeah, hands. No, the problem is that I don't remember the exact answer. I remember the logic behind it to some extent, but right now it didn't work for some reason. So it's we either start from 12 o'clock and then like the short hand stops at 3 and the long hand just goes further and so on. But another way is to use somehow to use the time here. No, I mean, wait. Oh, that's right. Wait, no. 1 second. Oh, after the tall one took 18 steps, it noticed its friend was missing. Oh, okay, I thought it was like after it went past its friend, like after 18 steps. Yeah, but makes sense. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, I remember. I think that I got caught by this too, and probably it was Brownie who told me what to do, or something. Or no, I just, yeah. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it was a nice puzzle. I really liked it. March 18. That's the day I arrived in Japan. I think I heard the door opening. Wait, what's this guy? Yeah, he doesn't have anything to say anymore. Oh, by the way, yeah, we have okay, so what do we have? Okay. Oh, visitor's room. All right, so we cannot go to the Northeast Station yet, I suppose. And let's go to the second floor. If you want to use my stairs, you need to prove you deserve it. Show me you aren't an ignorant lunatic like others. Should refresh my knowledge before answering this person. Okay. Okay, another... Okay, the elevator doesn't work. So Days room... Alright. Oh, okay, let's avoid them. They're scary. I don't want to go there. That's right. And here's... But it's... book about psychology. It sounds important. Alright, let's check it out later. Let me explore what's here first. The color definition is pretty bad on old TVs like this, but movie night is always fun with Renko. She's still thinking about Renko. That's cute. I mean, that's an wait, so what comes to what comes into my mind right now is that she's, well, of course she's probably, yeah, transported into another world, but for her it's just like a kind of a dream with which shows her what's like the events in the sanatorium, but twisted. But it's nice that she still thinks about Renko. That's cute. Okay, another thing. A book about horror sounds important. Okay, and here, alright. So we won't budge. Tabletop games are fun, but I don't feel like playing it right now. I just want to interact. Alright, let's... Little Albert experiment. Alright, let's go. The Little Albert experiment was a study that mid-20th century psychologists interpret as evidence of classical conditioning in humans. Classical conditioning involves learning involuntary or automatic behaviors by association. It was carried out by John B. Watson and his graduate student Rosalie Rayner at Johns Hopkins University. Classical conditioning. The infant was exposed to a white rat, a rabbit, a dog, a monkey, and other stimuli. So a white rat, a rabbit, a dog, a monkey, and other stimuli. Albert showed no fear of any of those items. Later, a white laboratory rat was placed near Albert and he was allowed to play with it. At this point, Watson and Rainer made a loud sound each time the baby touched the rat. Albert responded to the noise by crying and showing fear. After several such pairings of the two stimuli, upon seeing the rat, Albert would become very distressed, crying and crawling away. The rat, originally a neutral stimulus, had become a conditioned stimulus. The study proved that humans could be conditioned to enjoy or fear something, which many psychologists believe could explain why people have irrational fears and how they may have developed early in life. Okay. So he was conditioned with a rat, right? And also there were like rabbit, dog, monkey, and other stimuli. And now, horror book. The horror genre the horror genre has ancient origins, with roots in folklore and religious traditions focusing on death and pain, predators, ghosts, curses, evil men, isolation, the unknown, and the unstoppable. One defining trait of the horror genre is that it provokes an emotional, psychological, or physical response within its readers that causes them to react with fear. One of H.P. Lovecraft's most famous quotes about the genre is that the oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. Perhaps the most known fear is the fear of the dark. The fear of the dark does not always concern darkness itself. It can also be a fear of possible or imagined dangers concealed by darkness. In simple words, we fear what we cannot see. Prehistorically, people would have been more at risk of being attacked by predators or by enemies when in the dark. In the dark, our visual sense vanishes, and we're unable to detect who or what is around us. We rely on our visual system to help protect us from harm, so that fear makes us more vigilant for possible danger. It is a survival mechanism. Some legends say the first yokai was created when the light from the moon created a shadow. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Like, on an additional note, by the way, it is proven that when you learn a foreign language, oftentimes stimuli related to fear, food, I guess, and sex are quite strong and can make good mnemonics. So if you're learning some other language, you may use some dirty mnemonics like scary, dirty, tasty, and so on, and therefore enhance your vocabulary learning ability, right? Or maybe you can create an environment for like where there are such stimuli when you're learning some language. So yeah, just an interesting fact. All right, I guess. So what you're saying, we should learn Japanese by reading Ero Doujinshi? Of course. I mean, how do you think I learned Japanese? Well, okay, exactly not like that, but yeah, any Hifuu Yuri Dojin would be really good for that. That's true. Okay. The subject, doctor, and the student. Oh my god, I forgot. Okay, Rosalie. Okay, Rosalie Rayner. John B. Watson and little Albert. John B. Watson and Rosalie Rayner. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot that I need to push it longer for longer. Oh yeah, it's okay. It's a good system that prevents from just randomly pushing by accident. Seems you're correct. Let me ask you something else. What is the oldest and strongest fear? The fear of the unknown? You aren't an ignorant lunatic. You can use my stairs now. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Wait. Did I just say it myself? Like, yeah. Okay, it's too dark to go to the basement. Alright, so we are supposed to go to the room 105 to see the doctor, but yeah, I just want to... Okay. I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Because why not? Okay, I need a key to open this door. Oh, I mean, yeah. Yes, I'm going to check out all the doors. So yeah, when this stream began, I was talking about how the weather is really good in Japan right now. So yeah, finally after the week of cold weather, we have something good. And we can, yeah, I actually went, during my lunch break, I went to the river to just walk under the cherry blossom trees. Just for a bit. Okay, there is something else. There's something else. Let's see. About Miss Hearn. The patient was admitted to the central hospital in Kyoto due to an unknown infection. She had a wound on her arm and she claimed was caused. She had a wound on her arm that she claimed was caused by a wild animal. The wound healed strangely quickly without even leaving a scar, and the infection cleared up in less than 3 days. However, she was later sent here to Shinshu Sanatorium for quarantine and observation. Her mental health has since shown many signs of illness. By the way, Shinshu, the Shinshu region is where Zun was born, or spent his childhood. It's, well, basically it's Nagano King. Yeah. Yeah, glad the weather is good now. Last stream you were complaining about it. Yeah, I was really pissed off by the weather, simply because of how it was like out of the season, basically. It was just abnormal. The patient suffers from anxiety that lowers her blood pressure and gives her nausea. She frequently has fever and sleepwalks, but more worrying, she also suffers from delusions and talks about seeing other worlds in her dreams. Her brain activity is quite unusual, and studies of her REM, rapid eye movement, sleep have given inconsistent results. As her doctor, I have concluded she suffers from Miss Hearn has severe dissociative disorders which lead to a deteriorated sense of self and a detachment and refusal of reality. Lobotomy is highly recommended. Severing part of the left lobe of the brain to reduce the amount of delusions, along with a high-dose 100 mg of onirulina daily, to wipe her mind of the hallucinations and any other memories. She doesn't need that many thoughts anyway. Finally, surgery to remove the eyeballs and thus preventing her from being able to see those gaps that she secretly talks about with her friend. If the symptoms persist, it will be necessary to use electroshock therapy to disable some unnecessary parts of her brain. It will be painful, but health requires sacrifices. Soon, we will make it possible for her to be a normal person, whatever the cost. I thought it was illegal. I thought it has been illegal for a very long time. No. I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be normal. Oh, wait. Yeah. Let's go. Oh, the cherry blossoms. Oh, okay. There's a woman, and I'm not sure I want to talk with her, but I guess I have to. It's that woman, the Skimon. Why is she inside my dream? Is she the one waiting for me? You finally arrived, Maribel. She's... How should I voice her? Like... I'm trying to imagine her voice, but it's quite difficult. She says, speaking with great elegance. Her voice sounds healthy and even beautiful. Okay, thank you. Very unlike the first time we met. The rest of her body, however, is still as creepy as always. Why are you here? What do you want with me? I apologize for scaring you, but you must know. You are very precious to me. I do not intend to harm you. I'm only here to guide you, my queen. Queen? I'm nothing like that. My father is a writer and my mother is a simple housewife. There is nothing royal in my blood. Oh, but you are a queen, not of this world, but of a faraway land that has yet to exist. You're unique, Maribel. You are an impossible miracle, a magician who was born in this age of science, when fantasy and magic have been all but extinguished. They're only phantoms of what they used to be. But you can change that. You can alter the fate of this stale world. No, that must be a mistake. I only have dreams. I say scared, feeling my heart harden to stone. It sounds so gigantic, a task beyond anything I could have ever dreamed of. As if suddenly I had become the princess of some forgotten and twisted fairy tale. Oh, they are much more than simple dreams. You know it better than anyone. When you sleep, you visit other worlds, the places to which fantasy retreated after humanity rejected it. Worlds full of mysteries and wonders beyond what ordinary dreams can encompass. You even have brought objects from those worlds into yours. You're a bridge that connects dreams and reality. Illusions are no strangers to you, nor are they any less real. I gasp in shock. Something moved inside me when I listened to her. I feel my own soul break into tiny pieces as I look directly into her eyes, reflecting on them. She doesn't take her eyes off me for a second. She loves me, she adores me, on a level that's unsettling. No word can describe it except obsession. Humans yearn to live in comfort, without fear, frustration, pain, or risk in their lives. They've built their societies and lifestyles with that in mind. But always taking the safe path also has its consequences. Everything is known, everything is a repetition, everything becomes easier day after day. That world stuck in complacency, lacking in mystery and surprises and hardship, has driven fantasy away. And with it, the joy of chasing dreams too has been forgotten. You know it better than anyone, Maribel. Humans of today wouldn't believe a miracle even if it happened before their eyes. In order to live comfortably, they reject anything that doesn't fit inside their box. They abandon their own dreams, the most valuable things they have. Those last words resonate within me, etching themselves on my mind. My heart suddenly jumps. I feel that way. I've thought about it many times, so many that it would not be worth counting them. There's beauty in doing things the hard way. Maribel, you've seen it, haven't you? How the world rejects you. Your family got mad when you told them about your dreams. Your friends thought it was strange and were quick to ignore it. Doctors said you were sick. So great was the rejection that you became ill with anxiety, scared that one day everyone would turn against you. I react by winding my eyes, stunned, terrified even. My lips move without making a sound. I have no voice. I just stare at this smiling slim woman without being able to tell her a thing. Even your friend. You are afraid she's going to reject you if she learns who you truly are. You're afraid to be too much of a burden to her, to make her angry and dislike you. Renko can live on without you, but what will you do without her? I'm cold. I shake my head, unable to accept it. I can feel warm tears welling up in my eyes when I think what she is talking about. The world you were born in is not for you. If you need more proof of your rejection, just explore this place. A world of nightmares born of your memories. No, that's not true. Everyone was nice to me in the hospital. Even if they didn't believe me, they weren't mean. It was nothing like this. That is true, but this is how you felt. You have quietly said it many times, how it was the worst time of your life. This world is nothing less than the projection of your imagination. It is your feelings and memories given shape. This is how it looked to you. A cold, cruel, and lonely place, far away from any chance of happiness. After listening to her, I looked down in silence, with my mind in chaos. Why am I not running? Why am I doing nothing to escape? I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't move. Somehow, there is something in me that thinks she's absolutely right. Fantasy has died in your world, but it doesn't have to end there. You can create a new world, a new place to call home, a world where illusions and dreams are real, where the mysteries and adventures know no end, brimming with the long-forgotten beauty of joy to live, says the woman, speaking excitedly, wrapping her arms around me in a loving hug. She caresses me with her cold hands, but my tears are warm. That is the fate that presents itself to you. I hold my breath. I don't know what to say. I can't even think of something. My heart and soul are shattered, feeling like water trickling through my fingers. I just freeze in the woman's cold embrace. She caresses me with a tenderness that I have never known before in my life, not even from my mother. I'm crying, but at the same time, my heart is beating fast, not knowing if it is because of fear or because I am excited. Listen to me, Maribel. You will build a paradise that even the gods and legends will want to enter. A wondrous place, the land of illusions, and you will be the queen. I close my eyes, losing myself in her embrace. No word reaches my lips. I'm overcome by the tenderness in her hands and the promise in her words. By the way, just one short remark. I was trying to figure out what was the melody that was playing, because like I definitely heard some parts of oh my gosh, I forgot the name of the melody, but it was Yukari's theme in Immaterial and Missing Power, I guess, and like nanchara kanchara Night Falls. Yeah, I forgot the name of the melody. But later I heard a fragment from Alice's themes. Well, I thought about that, so I was wow. Okay, yeah, womanphobia. No word reaches my okay, yeah, I read it before. I'm just not happy in the world I come from. Then should I try this new world? Okay, I finished the prologue. Okay, I need to take some water. And I'll be back soon, so please don't leave. Don't go away. Stay here. So, okay, 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Okay, I'm here again. I brought some water, and not only water, but also some apricot wine. Well, of course it is. Yeah. It's the cherry blossom season at the end of the day. And I'm playing a Touhou game, so yeah. It's impossible to do anything without alcohol. What's your favorite alcohol, by the way? Recently I've been, well, not recently, but for a long time I've been really much into umeshu, like plum wine. Although plum wine is kind of like it's quite heavy in terms of like how it hits your head. I also love soju. By the way, this apricot wine is really good. Really great. Okay, let's go. Mary? Mary, did you get up? Where are you, Mary? I can't find you. Mary, you're gone, aren't you? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 So, is this ever... Okay, so I see this melody is created from several different pieces. Like I heard Pure Furies here, and Faith is for transient people. Yeah, I start forgetting the names of the melodies. I just remember the melodies themselves. Yeah. Game Brownie, I don't drink much as you know, but I'm fond of meats and fruity bitters. Yeah, that's great. I think I'm an outlier here. I only drink water and milk. Well, that's really nice, I guess. Yeah, I also drink milk a lot, actually. Like, basically every night. This is the age of science. A time where we know everything, and the things we cannot explain are labeled as only lies and deceptions. Such is the arrogance of modern humanity that we don't even hesitate to make such a statement. By the way, how's the volume? Because, yeah, I can see that the game might be quite loud for the stream now, but I'm not sure. Maybe I should make it less loud, like this. Okay. For thousands of years, humanity attributed what it did know to the supernatural. It's okay? Okay. Yeah, because I'm not sure. Sometimes it's difficult to check out that. Ghost stories, yokai and cults to gods were common. Ghost stories, yokai and cults to gods were common. Now they are practically fossils, which only exist in the pages of some history book. Science has displaced them, ending superstitions and eroding faith in the divine. At some point, it became unacceptable to believe in the existence of something that is not measurable, observable, and quantifiable. Everyday life also became a scientific formula. We study in our childhood, we work in a cubicle in our adulthood, and finally we retire to our homes for the last few years of our lives. It has been that way for generations, and I have no doubt that it will be that way for me. However, years ago there was someone who managed to break the cycle. A student tired of the knowledge that the greatest aspiration available to her was to be first in her class. Tired of looking out the window and sighing, of existing in this dull world without fantasy. In her dreams she saw another world inhabited by illusions, by monsters, gods, and spirits. Her eyes opened wide in wonder. She had never seen a place like that, equal to those in the forgotten legends and myths. She was fascinated by its impossible beauty and filled with an insatiable curiosity to learn more about it, about that world where all the barriers of common sense collapsed. A world with secrets, a world with mysteries, with illusions and magic, a dream world. That girl was called Tusami Sumireko, none other than my own grandmother. Okay, I see. Yeah, by the way, it's quite interesting how different creators use different explanations of who Sumireko is, because I've seen some doujin novels that make her Renko's aunt, but the grandmother wait, how was it called? Kaisetsu. The grandmother hypothesis is a bit stronger, I guess. Yep. The Mujika fanboys, aren't you saying? Yeah. The universe is divided. Yeah, like the universe had. It was the collapse of the quantum function. So there are several versions of the world. Okay. Wait, this is the something at plank length, if I remember the name of the melody correctly. As far back as I can remember, I always had a very strong bond with my grandmother. She was different from all the other adults I knew. It was fun to talk to her, to share my ideas, ask her endless questions and listen to her fantastic stories. We could spend hours talking. I didn't believe in everything she told me, but it never bothered me. Even if it was all a lie, the time we shared wasn't. My father and mother are the stereotypical modern parents, always encouraging me to study so I can get a good job in the future. High grades and a job is all a person needs to be happy, at least in their minds. It's disheartening to feel that that's all there is. My future was laid out before I was even born. All the more reason why I appreciated my grandmother. She inspired me to think outside the box, to have fun and dream of something else, even if it was impossible. The years passed in an unbreakable monotony, studying, doing homework, and talking to my grandmother whenever I could. I was in disbelief when she suddenly fell ill and was rushed to the hospital. The news took my breath away. It was a reminder of the inevitable destiny of every living being. When I visited her for the first time in the hospital, my words were cold and insensitive. It was almost like asking her if she was aware her death was nearing. I just didn't know what to say. I was like a computer struggling to express emotion. My heart was pounding in shame, but she didn't seem to mind as she answered me with a sweet smile. I am, but that's all the more reason to do the things I like. After that, visiting her after school became part of my daily routine. Grandma, why did you decide to leave that world? Weren't you happier there? Why did you come back? It's a bit complicated. If you had asked me when I was your age, I would have said that I was never going to leave that place. I was so sure of that. But time changes things. My body and my mind were weakening. With that, my power did too. When you're young, you long for adventures, chasing your dreams, even changing the world. But when you grow up, you only long to be able to rest and admire the fruit of your life. I guess what I mean is that my years of adventuring were behind me. Had I not returned, you would never have been born. There is nothing I'm more grateful for than to be able to talk to you, my beautiful, smart granddaughter. Thanks to you, I was able to relive my adventures once again, in my memories. She said to me in one of our conversations. For me, listening to it was like hearing a language from another world. I couldn't understand it. The complicated emotions reflected in her words were completely indecipherable to me. Good afternoon. Ranko, you're socked. I got caught in the rain on the way here. Sorry, Grandma. You have to be more careful. Don't catch a cold. If I had your powers, I could have created an umbrella. Pretty convenient, huh? Unfortunately, I didn't have one in hand, but a little water won't hurt me. I'm full of vitality. Maybe you don't have telekinesis, but I do think you have powers of your own, Ranko. I have never met someone capable of knowing the time and place just by looking at the stars. You're like a human GPS. That must require your brain to make thousands of calculations in an instant. Speaking of which, have you ever failed math? Being a GPS doesn't sound half as interesting as being a psychic. I doubt anyone would choose it over lifting lampposts with their mind. No, I don't even study for the exams. Oh, how enviable. I wish I hadn't needed to study when I was your age. I still have to study for the other subjects, the ones that are not exact science, like history. Being able to do calculations quickly does not save you from having to memorize dates. I see. Either way, it fills me with pride to see that my granddaughter is so smart. She squeezed my wet hand as she said that, smiling tenderly at me. I find the idea incomprehensible that someone could feel joy over somebody else's achievement. I just can't understand it. Even with my eccentricities, my existence is utterly insignificant. I'm nothing but replaceable. Renko, there's something I would like to talk to you about today. My grandmother said suddenly. There was a strange atmosphere in the air, as if everything was completely still and silent, even though it clearly is not. I see her holding a wooden box in her hands. I think I know what she wants to talk about. It's about the box, right? What's inside? Well, yes, but more than that, today is a very special day. August the 7th, at 5:22. It's not my birthday, nor is it for anyone in our family, nor is it the date of any cultural celebration. At first glance, it's a day like any other. Don't be silly. I don't mean it like that. Oh, sorry. I thought it was Renko talking. Don't be silly. I don't mean it like that. Today I want to give you something very valuable to me, that not even your father has seen. But first, close your eyes. I stay silent for a couple of seconds, almost hesitating to do so, but in the end I obey. I close my eyes and put my hands together, waiting to receive something. Soon I can feel an object weighing on them, with a smooth and hard texture. Okay, you can open your eyes now, my grandmother said cheerfully. It is a crystal ball. I blink in confusion, watching it silently without being able to deduce what makes it so special. It's my greatest treasure, the cold ball. Thanks to it, I was able to awaken my powers and have all the fantastic experiences I have told you about. I hear her speak with pride, without taking my eyes off the mysterious sphere that feigns absolute normality. Is it okay for me to keep it? I don't know if I can use it. My powers are much weaker than yours, Grandma. Yes, I want you to have it. It may not seem like it, but I'm sure the cold ball will fulfill your greatest wish, just as it did for me. When she says that, I look into her eyes, dark brown just like mine. She's smiling. Was she happy to get rid of her most beloved possession? Besides, I doubt I can find any use for it. I'm not as powerful, as psychic as she is. It sounds like a waste. My greatest wish? That's too ambiguous. How is the ball going to know what it is? It will know, but only if it's something you really want. If you have a true desire in your heart, the cold ball in some way will help you to realize it. Her words are full of honesty. At least it seems that she really believes so. I blink, unable to fully understand it. The message is clear, but the method of operation does not show any logic. It's literally magic. It just works. Becomes Mahou Shoujo. Oh, come to think of it, yeah. Just got an artifact. But she doesn't have any mascot character who can guide her. Unless it's Mary, but that would be too cruel towards Mary. I also don't know what kind of wish that would be for me. What's in my heart besides blood? Renko, you're too logical. I look back at the crystal ball, lost in my thoughts as I carefully examine it. Then suddenly I feel my grandmother's hands resting on mine. It's a warm and gentle touch. I long to have an experience like in games and television, something out of this world that would help me escape from my boring normal life. That is why I founded the Occult Club, and that was the wish that the cold ball fulfilled for me. As she speaks, I feel her hands press mine lovingly. She's entrusting me with her most valuable possession and her legacy too. Yes, thank you very much, Grandma. I promise you I won't break it. Was my simple answer. I feel so silly. I may be a genius when it comes to numbers, but I'm not good at feelings. Despite that, my grandmother looks pleased. She smiles lovingly, like I rarely remember seeing from her. Even when she's sick and weak, she smiles. She does it for me, gives me her most tender smile in silence. I should say something, but no word feels appropriate right now. Maybe staying quiet is the correct answer. There is nothing to it. I just have to accept her love. After that, we talked amicably like every other day, until it got dark. It was time for me to go home. I put the cold ball back in the box. Now it's mine. My grandmother waves her hand, smiling as I wave goodbye, as casually as we had done hundreds of times. She knew it. I knew it too, that this would be our last day together. The next morning never came, nor for my grandmother, not for my grandmother. Inevitably, our paths had to part. Time passed. I tried to use the occult ball. I made many wishes, both out loud and in my mind, ambiguous wishes and very specific ones, from the simple to the impossible. I wanted to see if I could provoke any effect from the occult ball, anything, even if it was just finding a 100 yen coin on my way to school. Again, I forgot the name of the melody, but I definitely remember it. It's... Wait. Okay. However, none of them were fulfilled. I have three hypotheses. First, that it is a simple crystal ball and I am wasting my time. Second, that I don't know how to activate it, or I don't have what it takes to do it. And third, that none of my wishes were strong enough. I made the wishes just out of curiosity, but there is nothing I crave so much as to call it from the bottom of my heart. I have everything I need to live. Health, a family, a home. Naturally, there are other things that I want, but in my mind, I just need to work to achieve them, or simply accept that they are out of my reach. They're pleasures, not things that I really yearn for. It seems that my way of thinking is too nihilistic to use the ball. My wishes have no weight. After realizing that nothing would happen, I kept the ball as merely a memento. Years later, I was admitted to the University of Kyoto in the field of relative physics. I could easily have gotten into any other science university. There are some of them in Tokyo where I lived, which would have made everything easier and cheaper, but I chose that one in particular for a reason. That's where my grandmother studied, and the location of the occult club that she founded. After I moved in, I bought a fedora hat like the one worn by detectives in noir movies. My parents would never have let me wear it, but now that they were not around, I could indulge myself. In my adolescence, I developed a passion for old films from the period between 1920s and 1970s, many in black and white, with bad effects and full of cliches. All detectives wear hats and raincoats, like a uniform, despite how uncomfortable they are in hot weather. Spacesuits, on the other hand, are simple aluminum foil. I'm curious about the strange vision of the future they had, or how the detectives got into all kinds of strange cases, how ridiculous and fascinating it all is. I also can't deny that I like the fashion of the time. It's elegant, so to speak. However, it's too old-fashioned of a taste, and none of my friends shared it. Shortly after I started living alone, I realized something. I'm very messy. Without my mother around to clean, my apartment quickly became a mess. I smile thinking that I live like a single man in manga. Anyway, I have no choice but to clean myself, although the disaster reappears every time. The request to reopen the occult club was accepted so easily that I couldn't believe it. I expected more resistance, to have to convince some teachers and recruit members, but it didn't take any of that. All I needed was to ask formally. The administration told me that as long as I could demonstrate that it offered scientific value, I could use the club to my liking. Confused, but in a good mood, I thanked them before leaving. Then I went to the club, walking impatiently with no idea of what was waiting for me there. I took a deep breath before opening the door for the first time in years. Inside were countless cluttered objects, many of which I had never seen before in my life. They were forgotten and covered in dust, but I couldn't help but smile proudly. "Finally here, Grandma." I spoke the words with an unusual warmth in my heart. I did not expect to find anything of material value. It was a pile of treasures to fuel my curiosity and interest. But there is something more. Everything here is a legacy from my grandmother. Every object and note helps me to know her better. I can't help but remember her when I see a message written next to a newspaper photo, in her handwriting. I held the newspaper in my hands for a short moment before putting it down and taking another look around. Then I sigh in resignation. I adjust my head and smile. There is much work to be done, but there is no better time to start than now. The first sessions of the club were simply me cleaning the place and trying to create something that resembles order. There were newspapers, tarot cards, an old computer that I had to take apart and reprogram, blurry photographs, candles, and even an anatomical model of a skeleton. It was easy to tell that my grandmother had originally wanted to communicate with the afterlife. I hold the school in my hands, studying it with my eyes until it slips out of my fingers and lands on my foot. I moan in pain, then pick it up and put it back, flushed with embarrassment. At least there wasn't anybody around to see. Renko is clumsy. Yeah, as I mentioned during my previous stream, I had visited the Kyoto University once. I didn't go to the classrooms, but yeah, I visited their cafeteria and that very, very famous dormitory, which is like, I don't know, 5,000 yen a month, and it's super old, and they keep some chickens or some birds or something like that. Yeah, Kyoto University is it's a very atmospheric place, I need to say. Yeah, I actually visited it with my friend who was a student there. Because, yeah, in the end of the day, I ended up living in Tokyo just like Renko. Yay. I moan in pain, then pick it up and put it back, flushed with embarrassment. At least there wasn't anybody around to see. When I started to clean, it seemed like it would be an endless job, but of course infinity exists only as an intangible concept. Little by little, I moved closer to my goal, until finally what was once a warehouse full of old junk could now be called the university club room. I didn't feel like throwing anything away. They were valuable memories after all, but I didn't arrange them to look better and free some space. I gaze at the fruit of my labor in silence, while I sip a cup of hot tea sitting at the club table. I'm the only member, but despite being alone, I enjoy this place. It is like a home. I guess that's how Grandma Sumireko felt when she was young. Within the space delimited by the walls, in this tiny world, everything belongs to me. Step 1 was completed, but my work is far from over. When I reopened the club, I had an obligation to write about my discoveries in a scientific way, to show that the club had value to the university. That is what I will focus on for the next few days, on deciphering the riddle of how to make something look scientific when by nature it's the opposite. And then, overnight, something unexpected happened. I don't know whether to call it ordinary or extraordinary, but it was a surprise. Girl. There is a girl standing by the door of the club in silence. Her hair is short and blonde. Her eyes are an unusual purple color. Her face is pretty, with Western features. She's very beautiful, far more than me, and it is also obvious she is a foreigner. I watch her in silence for a few seconds, until I decide to speak. "Hi, would you like to become a member of the cult club?" I said, introducing myself with a friendly smile. I didn't want to scare her. The truth is that the club was not popular at all, and recruiting more members is part of my job as president after all. Huh? She exclaimed, confused. She hadn't noticed my presence. I think I made her anxious, since she immediately looks away from me. She acts shy, pressing a hand against her chest. Then she looks up to meet my eyes and smiles, forces herself to do so. No, it's nothing. Sorry for disturbing you, replied the girl before turning around with the intention of leaving. Well, wait, I would love for you to join the club, I said without hesitating. She turns around, looking at me in confusion. I didn't really have to, but it would be very foolish if I wasted such a rare opportunity. Maybe I wouldn't ever have another one. Although I'm willing to be the only member of the club, it would be very depressing if that was the case. It's much more fun to have someone to discuss your ideas. I flashed her a kind smile and opened the door to the club, inviting her to enter. My name is Samirenko. I'm the club president. You like topic related to the cult, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You should try being a member for a while. You can leave if you don't like it, but at least give it a try. The girl flushes, looking at me in disbelief. She's shy. Don't you think it's strange to have an occult club in a university? Absolutely. But all it means is that we must change our approach. You could say that I'm a scientist who studies the supernatural. What I say does not make the slightest sense, and I say it with a smile. She blinks, not knowing what to think about it. She's still confused, but at least she doesn't look so worried anymore. How do you plan to study the supernatural? You can't even prove its existence. I'm not saying that I have a great research plan, nor do I have a laboratory where I do tests. It's just a club activity, something extracurricular. I look for rumors, myths, and urban legends and study them. That's why they allowed me to open the club. And do you think it's possible to do that? I think it's interesting. It is impossible to prove that the supernatural exists, but what does exist is our belief in it. If something exists, then it must have an effect on its environment that we can study. What is the occult? Where did it come from, and what does it motivate us to do? Answering the questions of humanity is the role of science. Seeing it this way, I believe that something can be achieved in this regard. If nothing else, we won't be bored. I must say that this is exactly how universities sometimes work. Yeah. You're not indulging in something, you're just studying where it came from or something like that. Well, it makes sense. I love that about academia, which I've already left, but yeah, I can feel something familiar to me. That's really nice. Hearing my own voice makes me think, what is the occult for me? Just my desire to feed my curiosity and amazement? Just a hobby? I don't know, but I know that I have fun when I learn about it. I guess the club is also a journey to get to know myself better. The girl looks at me in silence for a few seconds. Don't you think it's weird or silly? It's weird for sure, but that's what makes it interesting. Many things that we consider ordinary started out as strange, for example, electricity and the theory of relativity. Some still are, such as quantum physics. I said, unsure if I had been able to get the message across clearly. Maybe I shouldn't have used so many references to science. And I don't think it's silly. Sure, I'm not a gullible girl who accepts every ghost story as true, but I'm not going to reject something simply for being different from the norm. A scientist should always try to have an open mind. I smile warmly when I say that. She looks down, thoughtful, with a hand on her chest. I blink as I look at her, unable to decipher the expression in her eyes. The girl then lifts her head, revealing a small smile. I understand. It's nice to meet you, Sami-san. My name is Maribel Hearn. And yes, I would like to join the club. Haru-san? I said, trying my best to pronounce it and still failing completely. I already imagined it would be a foreign name, but I underestimated how difficult it would be to say. Hearn. Maribel. The girl corrected me. I must say that her Japanese is impeccable. She makes me feel a bit silly by comparison. And Maribelu. Maribel Hearn raises her voice, clearly annoyed. Those words echo in my mind and down the hall for a brief moment. I stay quiet for a couple of seconds, then I sigh in resignation and make a sheepish smile. I'm sorry, but it is impossible for me to pronounce it. Don't take it the wrong way. Hearing it, she lowers her eyes and sighs. Don't worry, I'm the one who should apologize. You're not the only one who has trouble with my name. After she finishes speaking, the girl sighs again. It must be frustrating for her that no one can even say her name. Something like that must remind you all the time that you're a stranger in this place. I clear my throat to get her attention. Well, miss, starting today you will be the vice president of the occult club. She opens her eyes wide and rocks back, clearly surprised. Vice president? But I just walked in. That would be unfair to the other members. You're in luck, because you're the only member besides me. I announce, speaking too playfully for how important that detail is. The girl simply responds with a forced smile. I see. Don't think about it too much. The fact that it's just the two of us makes everything quieter, and that will allow us to get to know each other better. Also, we can make tea and watch movies when we have nothing to do. Yes, I think you're right. Don't be shy. I have a very open mind. I don't think you can find another scientist who's a fan of the occult in all of Japan. Without a doubt. That is something unique. Anyway, go ahead. We can talk more and have some tea at the club. Yeah, thank you. That was our first day together, of many to come. She's the girl who soon I began to call Mary, the vice president of the occult club. At first I was practically the only one who spoke. I told her about my career, my interests in the occult, about my grandmother's Mireko, and all the objects in the club. She listened to me, barely making a comment between my words. She was afraid to express what was on her mind. But as she gained confidence, Mary began to speak more and more. Her attitude also improved. She looked more cheerful and lively. She made more suggestions for the club, and she even started to complain to me when I was late or did something that she didn't like. Mary is an expert when it comes to myths and legends. It had been her passion since she was little. Also, she told me she's studying relative psychology. That was the first time I heard of that discipline, but I suppose that a psychology major with love for the occult makes more sense than a physicist. Okay. Renko, there is something I would like to tell you. Yesterday I had a dream. Mary said on a day like any other, months after we met, as she looked into my eyes. I didn't think anything particular about it, but her look told me it was something important. Those words soon became something special to us. I remember very well that my grandmother had told me how she used to visit other worlds in her dreams. I couldn't contain my surprise when I discovered that Maribel was the same. I immediately put my hands on her shoulders and bombarded her with questions, brimming with excitement. She looked at me in disbelief for a moment before smiling with more warmth than I remembered even seeing on her face. She confessed to me that I was the first person to believe her. She dreams that she wanders through unknown worlds. Strange forests filled with monsters, a silent river that stretches infinitely with red flowers blooming in the shore, abandoned mansions and temples, hellish landscapes haunted by evil spirits. It's not quite the same as how my grandmother described it, but no less fascinating. They may be scary, often feeling more like nightmares than dreams, but they were always incredible. As for me, I couldn't be more excited. It was basically what I had always wanted, the opportunity to explore beyond the limits of our predictable world. It was like discovering an unknown island full of treasures, mysteries, and dangers. Of course, Maribel became someone very special to me, almost like an object of study, but I want to think that I wasn't so motionless as to think about her in such terms. After that, Maribel would tell me every time she had a new dream. Talking about her dreams and looking for places with possible paranormal activity quickly became our main club activities. With her here, the club went from a passing interest to something real, seeking and investigating true fantasy. With the passing of time, our closeness grew without me even noticing it. There came a time when we knew each other's tastes in food and movies, and we called each other friends. There came a time where holding hands was the most natural things for us to do. She would call me out for being always late, and I joke at her for no other reason than to make her laugh. One day Maribel joked that I was science fiction, thinking about numbers and rules, while she was fantasy, seeing the magic of things. But despite their differences, the two, science fiction and fantasy, are very similar. Both seek to create surprise, curiosity, and interest, either by creating a different world or developing our own far into an imaginary future. I thought something similar, only that I would call it objectivity versus subjectivity. I see things for what they are, while she seeks a deeper and invisible value. In any case, the truth is that she was someone very special. She's the kind of person who carries an umbrella to a meteor shower, the kind of person who lives more than when she is asleep than when she is awake, the kind of person who sees rabbits on the moon. She was a fantasy princess born in a world of pure science. Mary was the vice president of the occult club. But who is Mary to me? Who am I now that Mary is gone? The time is 1835. After class, I went to the occult club like usual. There, I filled a cup with hot tea and sat down. I stay silent for what feels an eternity, thinking about what happened. The morning started with a crushing surprise, but here I am, just hours later, acting like it all is normal. I didn't even miss a single class. It's not that I want to hide it, but that there is nothing else I can do. I woke up alone in my bed. I looked everywhere for Mary and didn't find a trace. I called her phone and received no answer. She just disappeared, while sleeping next to me in my own bed. It was such a blow that I didn't even know how to feel. A hole opened in my heart. I felt cold, frozen with the realization and loneliness. But I didn't cry or yell. I didn't do anything. I didn't know what to do, so I just accepted it. I look up after staring at my empty cup for unfamiliar seconds, then look around the club. There are countless items here. Many belong to my grandmother, but also many others that were collected by Maribel and me. Suddenly I sigh. The air of the club is different now. My statement that I am fine with being the only member of the club remains true. However, the loneliness feels much heavier. In my mind, a question is constantly repeated. What am I going to do now? Nothing. There's nothing I can do. I don't have the power of Mary or my grandmother to visit other worlds. To tell the truth, not even my grandmother could save her. Mary can travel to places farther away than she could go, and her powers had only grown as time passed. I knew it. I always knew that this would be the end of us. I sigh before refilling my cup, moving languidly. I don't care. I only do it to be doing something. I'm so distracted that I don't even notice when it starts overflowing. Shit. I sighed in frustration before reaching for a napkin to wipe it off. There was a time when I could have stopped it. One day Mary showed me a few bamboo shoots she brought from her dream. They were an extinct species impossible to find in this world. What she did was beyond the realm of science. Well, Mary was really proud of her powers back then, and she kept saying how, for her, dreams and reality were both the same. Maybe talking to me in the club was the real dream, and the fantasy worlds of her dreams were actually the waking world. She couldn't find a difference between them, so they were all just as valid, just as real. At that time, I could have told Mary that her dreams were just illusions. I could have hidden the things she brought and convinced her to stay in this world, to let her dreams to be forgotten. If I had done that, the result would have been completely different. If only I had. But I didn't want to. Instead, I did the opposite, encouraged her to go deeper into fantasy. Dreams and reality are different, and so children can smile because they know dreams can turn into reality. Were my own words to her. It was too beautiful to believe in other worlds. and denying her dreams would be the same as rejecting her. It would be like cutting the wings of a bird. I knew there was the danger of she would eventually get lost in her dream and never return. It was a shadow always present around her, but I just accepted it and went on as normal. Maribel wanted to fly farther than our minds, but in doing so she lost herself in the sky. Yeah, doomed Yuri. Time passes in silence. The seconds advance, and I can count each one. They slowly become minutes without anything changing until I rub my forehead and fix my hat, deciding it is time to leave. I put the cups and kettle back and stand up. The time is 20:27. I should go home. I take one last look at the empty club with a gloomy nostalgia before turning off the light. Goodbye, Mary. I whispered into the air, watching as everything went dark before closing the door. It's useless, but that's my farewell. Starting tomorrow, a new normal will appear in my life. A normal life without her. I think about it as I walk to the train station, passing the lampposts, with no hand to hold. It feels unusually cold, but I know that in time, that feeling will wear off. I close my hand after thinking about it and move on. I'm not like Maribel. I saw her anxiety, her shyness, the fear of being rejected, and her intense desire to be able to share the experiences that only she knows. She was struggling to fit in somewhere. We're both lovers and seekers of the supernatural, but unlike her, I'm fully capable of fitting into the concept that society calls normal. I could go on with my studies, become a doctor of science, get married and start a family. I could even be happy with such worldly acts. The cult is a passion for me, but not my only source of joy, not my reason to exist. In the end, even my grandmother, who was more powerful than me, had the same fate. So why should I doubt it? I accepted it long ago. I'd spent too many nights thinking about it, and always arrived at the same conclusion. So Renko learned to mask and Mary did not. Yep. Someday I would have to leave the club. Someday the two of us would have to part ways. I think that Renko has just ADHD. if we're talking these terms. She's just like me for real. Someday I would have to abandon my love for the cult to focus on the mundane, and I would be happy with that. There's nothing wrong with a normal life. I just wanted to experience something more. I wanted to dream. But dreams are temporary. They end when you wake up. Maribel longed to continue dreaming forever. I don't know what happened to her, but I pray that in that other world, she can find her own happiness. Meanwhile, I will fight for mine in this one. I sigh and fix my hat, look straight ahead and smile. I also have to do my best. I said to the air with renewed energy. The time is 00. A new beginning. Many days have passed since then, becoming systematic, predictable. In the mornings, I listen to the teacher's lecture. In the afternoons and evenings, I investigate the supernatural events that I am able to find on my own. The vast majority are false, but you never know when a small clue can lead you to something big. A second miracle could be just around the corner. The atmosphere brims with tranquility, not to mention a dry silence. People forgot about Maribel very easily. I don't blame them. It's logical, considering that she hardly interacted with anyone. However, sometimes when they look at me, they remember and ask about her. Where's the girl who always accompanied you? Something came up and she returned to Europe with her family. I responded kindly. The girl looked at me confused for a moment before changing the subject. No one ever even doubted that it was true. They all accepted it without further thought. Later that afternoon, I spent time reading news articles on my phone and sipping a hot cup of coffee. Among them, the appearance of a ghost in an abandoned village catches my attention. I should schedule a trip to interview the witness, a bus driver. At home, it is quieter than I remembered. I'm not a person with a big social life. I go out with friends sometimes, but I don't usually leave my house without a reason. And I don't talk to my parents very often either. The person with whom I was in contact the most can no longer speak to me, so I find myself with more time than I used to. Anyway, in this contemporary world, there is a sea of distractions available. I search my phone for a science fiction movie to pass the night. Distractions. She's just like me for real. The time is 7. 7 exactly. I open my eyes and stretch, like every morning. Then I go to the bathroom to get ready. I hear the water running as I wash my face to fully wake up. Later I look at my reflection. I contemplate my own face as if it were a strange object, thoughtful. It's been 11 days since Mary disappeared. I sigh, then shake my head to forget it. Then I finish getting ready and make breakfast before I go out. You do not wake up at 7 exactly at all though, lol. Maybe. I mean, sometimes it is possible, even if you have ADHD. I walk to the train station and board the train, along with dozens of people on their way to their classes and jobs. There are no empty seats, so I have to travel standing. I watch the landscape change through the window without paying any real attention. Once in the classroom, I look for a seat and wait for the professor to arrive and begin the lecture. I prop one elbow on the desk, resting my cheek on my open palm. I blink, not knowing what to think, even counting the seconds. My mind helplessly drifts between unimportant matters until finally the lecture begins and I have something to pay attention to. 1 second, please. I need to reply to the message, and then I'll be ready to continue. The very complexity of the subject distracts me from thinking about something else, allowing time to pass. It's just one more day. The time is 10:32. Suddenly, I feel my phone vibrate. Curiously, I take it out and check it. University lectures are much more permissive than high school classes. This is an important detail because otherwise I would not think about using my phone out of fear of being taken away. It turns out to be a simple system prompt. You haven't taken new photos in a long time. Scroll down to see your favorite photos. Get inspired and keep on living. Don't let the most important moments of your life be forgotten. I lazily sigh, thinking it couldn't sound more artificial. I think no further on it, and slide my phone back into my pocket. The rest of the lecture and the day goes by without incident. The time is 18:03. Before I know it, I'm sitting in the club, drinking tea alone. There's not much to do today, so I get distracted looking on my phone for rumors or recent urban legends. Unfortunately, the vast majority are clearly false. Cursed video game stories and bathrooms that connect to hell are a dime a dozen. I sigh, resigned that it will be a fruitless night. Then suddenly I remember the message from this morning. It is true, I have not used the camera as much as I used to. I easily slide my finger to view the recommended photos without any real interest. Oh my god. This is heartbreaking. I see the first photo, then blink with curiosity taken by surprise. It's a blonde girl taking a photo of her food. I don't know why I took it, but at the time, it looked very cute. The second photo is a selfie of me with a girl with purple eyes. We're sitting on a bench. Benches. It was snowing that night, so we're wearing our winter clothes. The third photo is a girl with very long hair sitting in the club, with a shy smile. When I met her, her hair was short, but as the days went by, it grew until it became very long. That was not the only thing that changed. They're almost like different people. The shy and distant girl with short hair afraid to speak, to the sweet girl with long hair who got angry every time I was late. The 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, all of them. All the photos are of Mary. I continue to slide them, feeling something warm grow inside me with each one I pass. I had wanted to forget, to think that everything would go back to the way it was before, but it's just not possible. Even if she's not here, she existed. Everything that exists leaves a mark, something measurable, something verifiable, and evidence of its passing. It was delusional to believe that nothing would change. Mary, my lips murmured, almost inaudible, with a nostalgic tone I don't remember hearing from myself before. My heart feels heavy. I keep scrolling down the list of photos, marveling at them. There was a time not long ago when every day was special. I'm not just talking about supernatural experiences, even the most mundane things seemed fun. Just eating at the cafe, just talking with that special girl. I wanted to remember them, so I started taking photos without even thinking twice. I took photos of things that I previously considered boring or insignificant, driven by an imperceptible joy. I keep going down until I reach the end of the list. The last photo is Mary on the night of the meteor shower. Oh, I need to take a screenshot. She elegantly holds an umbrella, smiling under a starry sky. Just by looking at her, I can remember it as vividly as if it were yesterday. I jokingly asked her why she had brought it, to which she replied that it was a normal response to rain. What she did was not logical. She did it because it was fun, because sometimes doing useless things can offer value that I am not able to measure or calculate. We laughed through an aimless discussion until we finally saw the spectacle in the sky. I guess, yeah, did you know that you can hide the text box? Well, I think that, modern visual novels usually has this functionality, but yeah, I don't remember which button it is. Wait, I need to check this out. Okay, X is Shift. Yeah. The problem is that I don't know the the correct button to do that, but it's okay. It was wonderful. It was, but it was even more because she was there with me. I still remember it, the night where you gave me your most beautiful words. And I gave you back nothing. I swallow and realize that I'm crying. Tears drop from my eyes and run down an astonished expression. Moments later, I finally sob, covering my face, feeling the weight of her absence. Mary. I call her name without anyone listening. I miss her so much. I was deceiving myself by saying that everything was fine. It's not. It isn't at all. I take a breath before wiping my eyes. Then, finally, I stand up and walk with haste, with a destination in mind. On the way, my heart beats fast. There are just a few steps between us, but I can't be calm. My whole being is falling apart. I reach for a scientific object, a wooden box that I had left quiet for a long time. Opening the box and looking inside, I see my reflection in the crystal ball. I'm a disaster, but in my eyes there is a determination, a resolve unique to this moment. I take the crystal ball in my hands and stare at it. A new wave of tears spring from my eyes as I suck in air to make my wish, to give the order to the occult ball. I have a wish. I want to see Mary again. Now it is different. Not even remotely similar to before. My first wishes had a negligible value. I hadn't really cared if they were fulfilled or not. I just wanted to see if I could operate the mechanism in the occult ball. But this time I have a true desire, something that I crave from the bottom of my heart, a feeling that was previously unknown to me. When conditions are different, it's not insane to expect a different result. think about that as I stare at the ball. I stare at it for a short time, 3 seconds, which seems like an eternity. Then I can feel the cold ball warming up in my hands. A familiar warmth, nostalgic even, like if someone took my hand to guide me. Mary, where are you? Would you be mad if we meet again? I feel like floating. It is different than when traveling with Mary. My mind floats away from this place, from this room, and from this world. Thank you, Grandma Sumereko. Thank you. My grateful lips murmured before everything faded away. Time is nothing without you. Where am I? A forest? Is this the place Mary told me about? Okay. Yeah, that was really great. Yeah, I think that I will stop here and continue next time, but yeah, I just wanted to share my some of my thoughts. I really love how, like, how should I put it? I really love when fiction shows determination that Renko has. Because, I don't know, yeah, that's exactly that. She's much more, she fits into the society much more despite her quirkiness than Mary. That's the whole point about her. And when she breaks the rules, when she's determined to do something, it's really cool. And that's why I really loved the latest album by Zone, because yeah, it was like, many people said that, oh, like nothing happens in that album really, but the fact is that a lot happens. Like, Renko just goes and vandalizes some object on at the cemetery, I guess. I forgot already, but yeah, I need to reread it. And it's funny because, like, when I was writing my Renmeri Dojin, which I still need to finish editing, but the problem is it's in Japanese, so it's like I'm struggling. I also had such a moment, and it was so nice. So yeah, I'm weak to such plot points. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yay. Brown, yeah, I haven't encountered the works that deal with Renko after Mary leaves, and it's a very nice glimpse into that. Well, I'd say that the whole Genmu and Utsutsu no Yume, which are the like series of doujin novels, like I guess that those were one of the first doujin novels, not manga but novels in Japanese community. They were super popular. They are super popular in the Japanese fandom. Yeah, like I read them. Damn, I read them, like I read the first part almost 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. Then I was trying to translate it into Russian, but then I just, yeah, my ADHD got me, and I never could finish it. But then there was a continuation, kind of, which I really wanted to read, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And then when I moved to Japan, I actually bought it, and then I couldn't finish it for a couple of years, and then I finally like locked in, and it was really cool. So basically those novels deal with that. It starts from the point of view of Mary. Like Mary just sees the cracks in reality as the both are going to some place with a occult energy or something, and then she disappears, and Renko, wait a second, It was about Tranko, right? The first part. Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, the second part was definitely about Tranko, who traveled through different worlds, like different versions of Gensokyo, basically. Yeah, and also the latest album by Zon is also about Renko searching for Mary after she disappeared. So yeah, I really suggest you taking a glimpse into that. Okay, so yeah, it was really beautiful. I like visual novels. And I like reading aloud, but I don't do it too much. So anyway, I don't know, I might also ask Alfred Pross about some silly questions, like was it difficult to implement some mechanics or something like that? But maybe we can. Maybe I can do that on Twitter. I don't know, because yeah, it's quite late at night right now. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, I remember that your group posted lots of posts, lots of advertisement about this game, like your progress, but then I think that the frequency just slowed down, and I was curious, what, like, were you just locking in, or simply, yeah, real life just had its own plans? Yeah, if you don't want to answer, you can just keep silence, because yeah, it's not like I desperately need to know that. But okay, let's go to the main menu. There was an autosave, right? The autosave function, I guess. Oh, we were developing it on and off. Had to work every few months, so that's why there's not much to show off for a long time. Oh, I see, yeah. Yeah, because, yeah, as I mentioned it, like, I was really following, but then nothing was there, and then finally I saw the post, besides I saw it on Blue Sky, actually not on Twitter, and I was super happy to learn that, yeah, the game is out. I wanted to check out the name of this melody, because when, yeah, it's interesting how the music in the main menu changes depending on whose POV you're experiencing right now, because at first it's Meredith the Magician, which again, I love that melody. I think it's underappreciated, because there aren't many ranges of that melody, but yeah, I really love that one. And this one is from Dr. Latency's Freak Report. It's, yeah, たわいもない二人の博物誌 The Childlike Duos Naturalis Historia. Again, it's quite funny for me, because when several years ago I was planning to make some music with some guy, like my first idea was to use Mary the Magician, and another one was yeah, this one, The Childlike Duos Naturalis Historia. Yeah, I hope I'm not mistaken, because that would have been embarrassing. Yeah. Okay, yeah, oh, Another message from Alfred Prost. Thank you for answering my question. Our writer is so eager to get the game published as soon as finished, so we just published it out of the blue. Yeah. Oh yeah. So probably you considered, I don't know, doing some advertisement campaign or something like that on Twitter, but yeah, you decided to put it out. Yeah. Yes, but yeah, by the way, yes, the whole menu color changed to that's really nice. Yeah. Is there anything else that changed? I guess no. Not sure. Wait. Oh, no. Wait. It's... Yeah, I can... Oh, yeah. Okay. I guess nothing else changed. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, there is a, but it's subtle. All right. Let me try to find it. Yeah, I'm just comparing the picture. Okay, I'll make a screenshot and I look into it in more details. The pause menu text changed. Oh, okay, wait. Oh, the pause menu. All right. I thought it was about this screen, but it was actually about the pause menu. All right. Yeah, I'll check it out, definitely. Ooh, all right. It was a really nice stream. We went much deeper into it because last time I had to stop, like, kind of in the middle of the prologue, in the middle of the content that I've already played before. So it was really good. Okay, so as for the next streams, I'm not sure about this week. Probably I want to continue streaming this game, and I'd like to stream something else, maybe Damaku Kagura, or maybe the game about whole life, the Damaku shooter about Sakura Miko. So I will think about it, but I definitely want to continue playing this game. And yeah, Brownie, thank you for putting what I think into words. It's a beautiful game, especially writing. Finish Undertale. Damn. Yeah, I have to finish Undertale, I suppose. It's been like 3 years or something. But I promise I'll do that, but not this week, okay? Alright, so anyway, thank you for coming today. 今日来てくれて本当にありがとうございました。また続きます。Alright. There's already Deltarune. Yep. Backlog. The backlog. I mean, but there was a Damaku game about Sakura Miko. It's Sakura Miko. It's Damaku. Well, okay, Undertale is Damaku too. Anyway, yeah. Let's call today. Goodbye. Thank you for coming and see you next time. Bye bye.